who knows whether it was personal, but the reality is problems are continuous. They're not personal. They're just persistent. But because they're persistent and they follow you in life and they never are going to leave you alone, there's always going to be a problem somehow. There's going to be a problem. And because that happens, it's so easy for us to personalize it, because if it's personal, then we have someone to blame.
All right. Today's topic is the test day, because today was a test day. So I just need to get a little bit extra carbs in my system before we go to bed. But it's already 10 o'clock. I'm trying to go to bed in the next 30 minutes. This is for tomorrow morning's workout. Because we're gonna work out fasted, so gotta be ready. All right.
I gotta pee, but actually we're gonna wait on that because
This conversation is more important. I'm to lock in. The best thing about the GorillaPod is the fact that you can mount it anywhere, and it always works. Bro, that car was sketchy. All right, I'm gonna try to keep this as short as possible for you because I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but I do want to give you a nugget from the struggle, because that's where all of my content really comes from. It's from just stuff happening that is not ideal, or that I didn't want to happen, or that was not what I was expecting. And when you have those like expectation or mindset and then it's broken by reality, that's when you have a reality check and you have to check back into the facts and look at your opinions and look at your own beliefs and feelings that you've been shaping on those beliefs, and actually ask yourself, are those beliefs even true? Is the story I'm playing in my head even true? Because what I did today, which I think a lot of us do, is it's just really easy to thought stack and thought spiral into a state of frustration and resentment towards people and bitterness, and entirely lose sight of the vision just because we're having a bad day. But the vision is not created without bad days. The whole point of a test day is to see whether or not you're willing to endure the dark days, willing to endure the suck, willing to endure the bad days, so that you can develop the character to actually last towards that future. That's how we flip our mindset about like bad days, or quote unquote bad days, because I think the idea of like having a bad or good day is entirely dependent on the story and perspective that you're giving yourself, or the story and the perspective that you're framing the story within. In a lot of ways, today could have been a disappointment because I didn't make a lot of money. I didn't feel appreciated. I feel like I worked really hard and made less than everybody else around me. And that's a very simple trap that I see everybody else in. And what I do now, when I see that complaining coming up, because that's what people do. They come in, they have a fresh mindset, and then immediately as something goes bad, they're like, see, that motherfucker, they screwed me over. And that's what they do, is like they're waiting. They're willing to have a positive attitude, but at the same time, they're waiting. They're just waiting for someone to blame. And it is actually crazy how much I see this all the time. And I'm not like, I don't want to name people, and I'm not saying this to condescend. I do it too. Seeing it on other people reveals something in yourself. That's never something to learn about others, is to not learn the same thing inside of you. If you see someone else making a mistake, learn from their mistake. Don't make the same mistake twice. And I had to deal with that today because it was just a poor performance. I don't know what was going on, but I felt like I was getting screwed. And in that moment, it was really easy for me to take that personally. In fact, I was kind of taking it personally. And the thought in my head was, who hates me? Who's trying to make me quit this job right now? Someone has got to be trying to get me to leave, because this is actually insane. And I kind of started during down that complaining route of looking at all the people that I hate and thinking about all the people that hate me, and just dividing from people and blaming people and just getting bitter and kind of like in that resentful cage of, oh, the world's hurt me and now I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna stay stuck here and I'm not gonna budge, and like I'm gonna be like just pissed off. And I just realized how tense and closed I was getting. And in reality, who knows whether it was personal, but the reality is problems are continuous. They're not personal. They're just persistent. But because they're persistent and they follow you in life and they never are gonna leave you alone, there's always gonna be a problem somehow. There's gonna be a problem. And because that happens, it's so easy for us to personalize it, because if it's personal, then we have someone to blame. Because they did that to me intentionally. But as soon as I say, no, this is a persistent thing, this is always gonna happen, this is part of life, it reframes my perspective. And the other thing I had to do was reframe this pervasiveness of the problem. Because what we do is we take the problem and we think it's like this world-ending thing. We start catastrophizing. We start projecting that one problem onto every other area of our life. And that, again, is kind of looking for the problem almost, right? Oh, I have a problem. There's something inconvenient right now. There's something that hurts right now. There's something that sucks right now. Now I'm gonna look for as much evidence as possible to back up this mindset, this limited mindset of I'm being screwed over. This is just the way I am. I am just get angry when people do this to me. I'm just triggered. And then we fall and we trip on that, and then we just kind of like replay it, and we're just stuttering to ourselves and to everybody else around us as to why we're such victims in life. And that's the easiest way to kill your vision. That's the whole point that I went down that rabbit hole, is because that's the easiest way to kill your vision, is to let the test days beat you, instead of realizing that the test days are not trying to beat the strength out of you, they're building the strength into you, right? The strength is being beat into you, right? That's such a simple switch, but it takes it from you being the oppressed to you being the agent, to you being the main character, to you being the storyteller. And if you're the conscious storyteller in your life, then you get to choose the story. You can choose to believe that all these little problems are forever, and you can choose to believe that they're everywhere and that you're just gonna project them onto everyone. And you can choose to believe that they're personal. You could do that, but that would be a limited view of the reality that is not from God, that is not true, that is from the enemy, that is designed to keep you stuck in the place that you are right now, designed to keep you convinced of this realm, this circumstance as permanent, as what is in control, as the thing that's in power, instead of understanding the power that's actually running your life, the power that actually runs all of the good things. And that's when I understand, oh shoot, okay, actually, I can do anything. And I don't just see that out of the blue, I see that out of the person that's guiding me. That's been a big unlock today, because today's test day went pretty well, considering that it was like, oh man, all these different things sucked, and that was unfortunate, and I didn't want that to happen. But I looked at the facts instead of saying stuck in my feeling, my personalized feeling, where I was assuming intention and placing blame and creating a whole paradigm that is ultimately weakness, that is ultimately a lie, that is ultimately convinced of the external, temporary, material things around me as the things that are actually in control and the things that are actually real, instead of looking a couple dimensions deeper. And that's starting to get esoteric, and I don't want to get esoteric, but I feel like it always gets down to like invisible things, because that's where the stuff starts, is the perspective inside of your head and the things that you're focusing on with your attention and with your visual field and what you're playing inside of your brain. And I guess when you get a test day, you can use it to test your own beliefs. You can use it to test your own BS. How much BS do you actually have in your system? Because that's what a test day will do. It will pull the crap right out of you. Trust me, it's not gonna take that long for another one of those days to come up. And in that day, now you can understand, oh, this is a test day. This is gonna reveal some crap about me. I can actually get excited about this, because this is an opportunity to solve new problems that I didn't see before. But because this day is putting me so down here, I got this beautiful angle of all of my problems. And yes, that can be overwhelming. Yes, that can be frustrating. Yes, that can feel a little bit like diminishing and humbling, but it's not. It's not if you take it properly as a signal to grow versus a signal to stop, right? If you want to take everything as a signal that I'm stuck and that I need to stop and that I'm stuck here, then that will become your reality, because you get to keep your limitations if you fight for them, right? Whatever you choose to fight for inside of your head, whatever you choose to set as the intention of your field around you, that's what's gonna be. That's just how it goes. And you probably heard that before. You don't need to hear it again from me. But now you know when the test day comes, how are you gonna respond to it? What kind of leverage are you gonna apply to your test day to make yourself better, to learn something about yourself, learn something about others, learn something about your own potential, and use it just to scrub off the edges a little bit. It's not necessarily fun, but I think in the long term, that's what's gonna allow you to stick out the future. Because guess what? This is training you for the next level. The next level's on the way. You just might not see it coming yet, and you might not be fully receptive to it yet. But I take test days as a signal to grow, as a signal that I'm on the right path, and as a signal that, hey, this resistance right now, this is because I'm a massive force. And massive forces create massive, or I guess you could say are magnetic and get a lot of resistance. They get a lot of that opposite force as well. And that's just how it goes. That's not something to be upset about. It's not something that needs to shatter your view of the day. It's more of just a reminder of, oh yeah, shoot, actually I am doing something great. And this is like a difficult day. And maybe these problems were of my own fault or someone else. But at the end of the day, I got these problems and I'm gonna have to deal with them. And so now I get to work on some solutions. All right, now let's go to bed, right? Like now log back in. And that's what we're about to do. So I'm gonna go to bed now because I don't wanna keep yapping, trying to keep these short. But definitely time to lock in, time to get like the good sleep, lock in the nutrition, lock in the training, get around some great people, and I don't know, learn some more. I'm excited to just sit down and take in the badness of today, but the fact that I chose not to complain, the fact that I chose to use that as its own sort of like cutting stone for my brain, like to callous my own mind. And you probably hear that from David Goggins a lot, but hopefully this gives you just a fresh perspective on your own suffering or whatever kind of crappy day you're having. And just remember you're human too. Everybody is going through this. Everybody deals with it. Everybody has the insecurity, the fear, the uncertainty, the constant workload that seems to never go away, the problems that are always coming, those are continuous things, and the pain and the uncertainty of life. We can remember that, and then remember that we're all humans and that there's like 8 billion of us on this planet and we're all just trying to figure it out. So maybe we could have a little bit more grace. Maybe we could do a little bit better because there are people coming on after us, and it would be probably be better if we passed on good things instead of leaving our hurt and our trauma inside us to pass those down, right? It's either like you heal from it or you pass this hurt down to your children, to your friends, to your family, to your partner, whoever it is around you. And that's how I choose to view my problems, as I own these, I get to solve these, I get to grow from these, and if I don't, I get to live with the consequences of that. And also probably my future kids get to inherit that as well, which I don't want. So that's another episode for the legacy mindset that I can't wait to release as well. So we'll have to hit that soon. But other than that, I hope this served you. Go to bed, get some good sleep, stop scrolling. I just cried. Bye.